What's up, guys? I wanted to go ahead and finally get started on delivering on the promise of this channel. For this first topic, I think this is probably the biggest topic when it comes to thinking about gaming responsibly, and it applies to everyone, not just parents, and that's going to be finances. So being responsible with your money. And I wanted to provide 4 principles and something that you can really just take away from this video and start applying immediately so that it's more practical rather than theoretical. Before I begin on them, though, I do want to make a preface about the value of gaming, because there's I think a misconception that gaming is a uniquely expensive hobby, that it's uniquely expensive entertainment. And the reason for that is that you see video games that cost $60, $70, or game consoles that cost $300, $400, $500, and you think this is just too much buy-in. All of this stuff is too expensive. Movies don't cost this much. Monthly subscriptions to things like Netflix don't cost this much. A Blu-ray player doesn't cost this much, right? And so the idea is that gaming is uniquely expensive, and that if you do become invested in gaming as a hobby, you're already being financially irresponsible right out of the gate. And the one thing that I want to highlight about this is that the value in money and time that you get out of gaming is actually per dollar much higher than what you're going to get out of other forms of entertainment. So for example, your typical movie costs about $20, right? Whether you buy a Blu-ray or a digital version, you're spending about $20 on a 2-hour movie. So that's $10 an hour. Video games can be 50, 70, 100-hour experiences. Most movies, even if you rewatch them 2 or 3 times, that's still 6-8 hours that you're going to be getting out of that film. Whereas a video game, you're actually getting a lot more time, a lot more entertainment, a lot more enjoyment out of the game. And the replay value of a game is then going to be an additional 30, 50, 60 hours. Even though video games do cost significantly more than movies, you are getting a lot more value out of them than you are just sitting and watching a film. So now for the 4 principles, right? The principle number 1 is focus on your backlog. Backlog just means the games that you have that you've either started playing and haven't finished, or games that you have that you haven't even started. Always be thinking first, what's in my backlog? Let me go check it out. And prioritize that backlog, because the longer that you wait before buying your next game, and the more games in your backlog that you complete before buying your next game, the less money you're going to be spending over time. Number 2 is wait for sales. The temptation is going to be, I have to have it now. I've got to have it while it's hot. I've got to have it while other people are playing it so I can talk to them about it. But almost all video games, within a relatively short period of time after they launch initially, will go on sale. So if you can wait and buy the game when it's on sale, you're going to be making sounder financial decisions. And you'll notice that these first 2 principles already connect with each other. If you wait to buy a game until it goes on sale, well, then what are you going to play right now? Well, you should be playing some of the games that are already in your backlog, right? And if you immediately go to your backlog to start playing a game instead of buying a new one, well, by the time you get through some of your backlog games, the new game that you wanted will probably be on sale. Number 3, buy used games. This is similar to buying games when they go on sale, but specifically buying used games, sometimes you can find used games much quicker than you'll actually find games where the game publisher, like a Nintendo or a Sony, puts the game on sale. And this will happen because people will buy a game and they will play through the entire thing in a weekend or a couple of weeks, and then they'll sell it on eBay, or if you have any local game stores, even a GameStop that sells used games, sometimes you'll find them very quickly. And then principle number 4 is buy physical games. And you can already see how these 2, buying physical games and buying used games, are going to go hand in hand, because your not going to be able to buy a used digital game, right? That's just the nature of the medium. Part of the appeal of the digital game is that you don't have to get in your car and go to a store or wait a few days for something to be delivered. You just get that instant gratification of buying the game now because it's right there on the eShop. Charge your credit card, downloads, boom, you've got a game. If you prioritize buying physical games, you'll be less likely to give into that temptation to just impulse buy a game. And there's one other advantage to buying physical games is that you now have physical copies that you can sell, which not only helps you financially by getting you a little bit of money back for that game that you bought, but this can also help with point number one, which is your backlog, right? In other words, buying physical games means you're more likely to buy games used. You're less likely to impulse buy on the eShop, and therefore you are more likely to get through your backlog quicker, because if you really aren't playing a game, you can sell it. So those are the four main principles. Number one is prioritize your backlog. Number two is wait for games to go on sale. Number three is buy used games whenever possible. And number four is buy physical games rather than digital games. If any of you are watching and you do want to leave a comment, if you can think of something that I forgot, something that's been really helpful for you to practice to save money and be financially responsible in gaming, I'd love to hear about it. If there's anything on the topic of finances that you think warrants a whole separate discussion that I could make another video about, I'd love to hear about that too. So just let me know in the comments. I will see you guys next time.